10% in everything he did, whether that was training or meetings. He was known for that competitiveness, on the field, and it wasn't just a thing that happened on a Saturday. He showed it throughout the week. So, as a young player looking at that, it's something I took away.
He obviously was a decorated captain. You're improving on the field. Is this one of your goals? I know you've obviously got to get picked and everything else, but is that something that you dream of doing, becoming a Wallabies captain in the future?
I don't think it's something you sort of want to dream about. I think it's something that happens, and it's a progression. It'd be an honour to do that sort of stuff, but I've got a long way till that happens for sure.
Is there an individual moment that stands out with hoops in your perspective?
Not particularly, but we have a great relationship. Still speak here and there, and I think he was just good to me, and when I was young, coming through, he was always there to talk, or coming up obviously this year, speaking to him, and he's working with Stan and stuff like that. So still great to speak to him, and wish him the best.
Drop him a text when the news broke. Have you been in touch with him since? Or?
Yeah, I sent him a message, said him go well, and enjoy some family time.
I was going to say, on that Wales test, Joe's so big on the fundamentals. How much has that just been around the breakdown, really making sure that that's clean, both the attacking and defensive side, so you can play the style of footy you want to play? Yeah,
it's massive, obviously. Learning under Joe, like this past week, sort of realising, where he sees our big growth is, and that's a big area. Fundamentals, test match footy, they can make or break you. So, really nailing down those nitty-gritty areas, and, it's refreshing for us as players, sort of understanding, he's a decorated coach. He's done very well with Ireland, so how they operate, set that platform. So, it's a change for us, but it's going to be a slow process to get to where he sees we can get to. So, but it's been a great week, and nailing down those areas, like you said.
This is a question for both of you. Joe Smith in Ireland was renowned for his attention to detail, and no matter how gifted you are, nobody's spared. Have you boys find the difference just working with Joe? Has it been a bit of a shock to the system?
It's different, because all he talks about is to be active in every situation, even defense and attack. It's a bit like it's going to be good for us, and we're looking forward to showcase it and to come out on Saturday.
Thanks for yourself. Re-signing with the Reds, what does it mean to be back in Queensland? The place you sort of started, and gave you that opportunity.
Yeah, it's been blessed to be back again. We're at home, where it all started, and to play together with some of the boys I know for a while. And I can't wait for next season.
The Rebels playing a bit of outside centre, showing that versatility. How's that grown your game?
I think it's making me comfortable to play 13 and wing, to grow my game. Love to play 13 more, but to go back to the Reds, I don't mind where to play 13 and wing, but looking forward to it.
Fraser, we obviously got the news just before coming in here that KB ruptured Achilles, obviously a really, really serious injury. What's the mood in the camp from the boys, around, it's a very significant injury?
Yeah, obviously it's super sad, and everyone's feeling for Kurt Lee. It's not anyone really wants to hear someone doing their Achilles or a major injury like that, for sure. So I'm sure everyone's probably sent him a message, and really really feeling for him. But we've got a great group and some great young players there, and just excited for what's ahead.
How are you approaching Wales yourself? I mean, they had a bit of a rough trot in the Six Nations, but some really, really talented player, renowned back row, real history of Welsh back rows. How are you approaching them for Saturday yourself?
Pending selection. Mate, they're a super competitive side. Obviously, they had some tight losses to France and to England in the Six Nations, and they've been in camp a lot longer than we have. They played against an quality South African side. So I think personally, and probably across the group, it's going to be trying to find that balance between how Joe and the coaches want to play their style of football, mixing that what we've done at our own sort of clubland. So for me, just try to get my hands on the footy, you know, if that happens, and yeah, just be a workaholic, I suppose.
Fraser, Joe's talked about how the leadership might be shared around a little bit this month with, you know, it's not necessarily a be all and end all who gets to see next to their name each week, and we saw it shared around last year with Eddie as well. But what's been set up from a leadership group perspective with the players so far?
Yeah, there's a sort of, I'm not too sure what Joe has in mind. There's a few groups, leadership wise, defensive strategy, all that sort of stuff. I think there was just a sort of a core group of sort of players, sort of older sort of boys that sort of got pulled into that. And I think it's a lot of figuring out how Joe operates and Joe figuring out how we sort of had operated in the past and trying to find that balance.
Do you feel like the media and the fans maybe fixate more than they need to on that C next to the name? Like within a team, is it more important about how that leadership group works together and communicates?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely more important to have a key group that can help drive messages. Obviously, you don't want someone speaking all the time, and obviously it's a bit of white noise, maybe one in one out the other. So yeah, having, you know, core members across the group in each different positions, being able to deliver that same message, I think is, you know, very, very strong to have. But in terms of that C and all that sort of stuff, that's going to develop and progress as the year continues. I'm sure there'll be, you know, there's some very, very strong candidates there, and that's just going to continue to grow.
Fraser, you've got a great vibe under layers at Queensland. You can just see the vibe that's there. Is there anything that you've been able to bring with that core of players into this new Wallabies camp, and how are you finding the atmosphere? You know, it's a different leadership under Joe Smith, different regime. How have you found it off the field in terms of the bond the boys are having? Yeah,
well, obviously, you know, Joe and Kissy have coached a lot together, and they've got that relationship there. So being able to come from the Red system to the Wallaby system, it's a lot of crossover, which is great for us Queenslanders, and being able to sort of help the other boys in terms of, you know, where Joe sees our improvement. In terms of off the field, I think the group's, you know, mingling really well. Some great new additions that have really mingled really well. It's seamless, you know, their induction, and I think we're working really hard to make sure that we don't have much time, really. We've got, now 5 days until our first test. So, and even before that, we had last week, it was quite short as well. So I think everyone knew we couldn't wait and sit around for something to happen. We had to rush into that. So, you know, making sure that if we don't know someone off the field, you know, we're sitting down, having a good yarn with them, mixing up out of our normal Super Rugby sort of groups, and getting to know each other really well.
Yesterday, we were out in the rain, cold day in Sydney, and there was a pile of young fans out wearing their Wallabies jerseys. It shows that there's still people who really want you, both as players, to do well. How have you responded to just people out and about the street wishing you well and really want to see this side go well on Saturday?
So yeah, it was a good turnout yesterday. We were surprised to see. It was a bit wet. I was surprised to see our fans out there. Yeah, and like wish us all the best, and yeah, look forward to the game.
Fraser, how's the defensive systems changed this year compared to last year?
Obviously, Lord's been around a lot, and he's got his own way of a defensive system that's been well tested, I suppose, in Brums and stuff like that. And yeah, he's really clear what he wants to focus on this year. And obviously, there's a big difference, right? Like we all know that, but yeah, the way Lord's been able to prepare us compared to when he came in 2022, he's had a lot more time and a lot more focus areas, which has been great for the people that were there in both years. So yeah, really looking forward to it. And obviously, a defensive side, when they're strong, is something that, you know, it's a team that you really want to be and compete in. So really looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Fraser?
Do you feel like it's going to be, last year there was all sorts of things happening. Is there more clarity around roles with the perhaps simplification and more of the, you know, the coaching team being so established?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of clarity, and as players, it's what you try to chase. Try to chase that clarity in all facets of the game. Obviously, yeah, last year was disappointing, but we're moving on. It's a new year. It's tough to really predict what's going to happen on Saturday night. Obviously, we just have a fresh coaching group who are well coached. They know a lot about the game, and they're trying to put all that information into us, and they know where we need to improve. Obviously, we know where we need to improve, but we won't truly know until post Saturday night. So yes, just excited.
Fraser, how are you dealing with that short turnaround? You mentioned obviously last week you haven't actually had a lot of time in camp together. You've got a coach that demands and expects a huge amount of detail in terms of how you play and the attention to detail. How are you going with that study load and training load, just really inhaling a huge amount of info in a short period?
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility and onus on the players, which is great. And that boys are doing really well. Sitting down at the laptops and definitely a lot more of a different vibe compared to previous years. Like we're all super engaging and really want to get in front of that detail. Joe says it though. Sitting at laptops is not going to win you a test match, but it's great to have and great to have that detail across. So I think the important part is that we get it knocked off early in the week, and then back into the week we're able to focus on truly what's important against Wales.
How difficult to adjust to a new structure, particularly one that can be quite technical, Fraser?
I think what Joe's trying to bring in though isn't too technical. It's pretty simple when he explains it, and for us it's now just trying to get that the repetition of doing it helps us Queensland. Like I've said before, we've sort of done this for the whole 8 months of pre-season into the season. So when he speaks, it's super simple and it's super understandable for us. But in terms of the shape, I mean, all rugby sort of is a different version of a shape. It's just making what's probably more important is getting those combos right. So understanding how for me maybe a Nick White or Jake Gordon plays, I know how Tate plays. So I think that's probably the important part.
Last couple of things.
Filipo, you were out of the Wallabies frame for a little while. Did you think that maybe the international career was over, or just a little hard work to get back?
It's all the hard work because I've been away for 2 years. I'm trying really hard to be back again. I'm happy to be here. It's a good chance for me to go down to Melbourne to play for more 13, so I can try to be cracking the Wallabies again.
Yeah, how do you reflect on your previous performance for the Wallabies, like how you went and how you could improve?
Just try to understand more about rugby and try to improve myself from what I've left. Try to improve week after week just to be a better player and try. Happy to be here.
What did you learn most from the first foray into international rugby?
I learned more. It's tough to play international, and to play international, you need to be fit and understand all the game plan and everything, your role, and to understand who you play with, and to try to work together as a team.
Fraser, what sort of style can we expect to see from this version of the Wallabies? Are you wanting to keep the ball in hand, or do you want to pressure teams with your defence instead?
It's a bit of both, I think. Obviously, good defensive sides want to win that battle in that area and want to get the ball back. I think obviously Australian rugby is at its greatest when we do run the ball, but and keep the ball, and that's what we definitely want to focus on. There's going to be times where we're going to kick the ball. Obviously, a lot of Australian fans probably don't like that, but there are definitely reasons behind it, and we're going to try to kick for a reason. We're either looking for a great space, putting pressure on them, or we're going to get it back. So, yeah, looking for obviously every team wants to say, but good defensive side and a really strong, as a forward, really strong set piece side that focus on those small areas.
Fraser, how do you find that balance between the much heralded Wallaby way, playing expressive heads up rugby, and traditionally Joe Smith, where you don't go for the offload unless you're absolutely sure it's on, and that attention to detail? How do you find the balance as a player?
Yeah, well, I think it's great to have in terms of what's ahead of us and the challenges that lie present. Like you look at the Lions, and obviously a bit later on the World Cup, like they're two things that global on the rugby stage, and that's probably where that discipline of not throwing that offload, like you said, are super important. And as a group, we've got to start understanding when is a good time, when is a bad time, and I think Joe's, especially being here for next year, has been able to drill that into us. It's going to be a great thing.
Last one, if anything else.
Yes, all right, a lot's happened since that night in Leon when Wales beat Australia last, but how much, for somebody who was involved in that squad, do you think about that in terms of getting
honestly, I haven't really thought about it too much. Last year was a different time, as we all sort of know, and it was a strange time. So just being able to be back, first and foremost, once I was playing with the Reds, I sort of forgot about that. And obviously everyone who was there sort of knows it was difficult and tough pill to swallow, but everyone took lessons. Everyone learnt things. So now here, we don't really have time to reflect. It's more about we've got to learn under Joe and learn what he's trying to bring in because we don't have much time. So just super excited for Saturday. We'll see what happens.